I'm Steve Duncan. I'm with Byeon Air. Really appreciate the opportunity to be here today and introduce you to the Lungfit PH. This is the first and only 3-in-1 device that generates, delivers, and monitors inhaled nitric oxide from air that's in the room. We're able to accomplish this through some unique technology that the inventors, who were the ones that designed the original device that was FDA approved to deliver inhaled nitric oxide, were the same ones that designed this technology, and their goal was to eliminate the cylinders that were on the back of the device and allow you to have the option to deliver inhaled nitric oxide unlimited from just the air that's in the room. Historically, the challenge that you've had with cylinder-based therapy or cassette-based therapy is that you have a supply which has a limit. And as you close in on that, you become more focused on where your cylinder pressure is at or how much time remains with your cassette. With the Lungfit PH and the use of the ionizing technology and using room air to generate inhaled nitric oxide, you have unlimited, on-demand inhaled nitric oxide that is predictable and sustainable as long as you have a dose set. The main and backup ionizers provide unlimited, on-demand generation of nitric oxide from room air. Within the small chamber, the system uses the power equivalent to a 60-watt light bulb to ionize the nitrogen and oxygen molecules. The molecules then recombine as nitric oxide. So with the Lungfit PH, we have the control panel, which is where you would make the connections to the patient circuit. And you would also have the option using the master control switch to select what delivery system you're going to engage. And then to the side of that, we have our connections for the bagging system. What's nice about the control panel when you're making those connections to the patient circuit is that each of these are unique, so you're not going to inadvertently connect something to where it doesn't belong. And when we look at the options for the master control switch, we basically see for the main system, which is where it would be set most of the time in that 12 o'clock position. And then we have the option to engage the backup ionizing chamber if needed in the event we had an issue with the primary delivery system. The third option is for bagging. What's nice about this device is by having two systems inside the Lungfit PH, you have the ability to deliver a set dose into the patient circuit while you're bagging a patient. If we look, the components that go into the Lungfit PH as far as connectivity to the patient circuit look very similar to what you've currently been using. And that is, we have an NDM, or nitric oxide delivery module, which basically measures the flow through the patient circuit and in turn, in real time, delivers the amount of nitric oxide that you need for the dose that you've set with the device. We draw a sample gas, no different than what you've been doing, and that's basically to validate that you're delivering what you've set as a dose, and that sample T will be placed somewhere down close to the patient Y. The beauty of what you see here is we have prepackaged kits, so these components come already in a kit for you, and everything that you see here is disposable or consumable, meaning it's single patient use, with the exception of the cable. The cable is the only component that we would ask that you wipe down and reuse from patient to patient. So what I'll do is I'll just show you quickly the connections, and as I mentioned, they're all unique. So it's very easy to make the connection. So we have the NDM cable. The next thing we have is the tubing that would be used for delivering the nitric oxide into the patient circuit. And the final thing is the sample line, which already has a hydrophobic filter on the end of it to basically filter out any moisture that you would have before it would enter the monitoring system. The bagging system is very simple. You essentially would connect your O2 source to one side of this adapter setup, and on the other side you would connect your resuscitation bag or your ambu bag. And as I mentioned, you have the ability to basically move back and forth from backup, main system, or bagging system. And each time you do that, you will get an alert to let you know what system you're operating in or which ones you've engaged at that time. The user interface with the Lungfit PH is very easy to navigate and use. With the user interface, we have a variety of options with the soft touch keys. And to the left side, what we have is a menu button that allows you to navigate different screens and set the brightness on the screen. Below that is your 0 button. That allows you to basically perform a low range calibration, which you would do prior to initiating therapy on a patient, or we also recommend every 24 hours while you're delivering therapy to a patient. The cal button below that is to perform those high range calibrations. We recommend you do those every 30 days, very similar to what you've been doing. And across the bottom, you have the ability, once you press the cal button, to select the gas that you want to perform the high range calibration. So with this device, the user interface monitors O2, NO2, and NO, values that you're very familiar with. And to the right of those, we have the NO set button. With the NO set button, to set a dose, it's very simple. You simply press the NO set button. I spin my control wheel to the value, and what I'm going to set it at is 20, which is the recommended starting dose. Once I set that dose, I confirm it by pressing the control wheel, and I'm immediately generating 20 parts per million with the ionizing chamber to deliver the therapy to the patient. Again, the benefit with this is we're just doing that by converting room air into NO. When I get to the point that I want to begin weaning a patient off of that initial set dose, all I need to do is press the control wheel. I can take it to whatever value I want, so I'll take it down to 10. Again, press it, and what it's going to do is reset to that new value that I have at 10 parts per million. Above the control wheel, we have a couple of LED alerts for both the medium and high priority alarms that you may encounter. And above that is the mute button. So you do have the ability, once an alarm alert has been given, to mute it. The Lungfit PH is unique in that the device, when it pulls room air in to that ionizing chamber, is filtered prior to entering the chamber. And then once you've created the inhaled nitric oxide, we also filter that gas again using an NO2 filter, which provides up to 12 hours of filtration. And what's nice is it's not something that you have to keep track of. The device itself has a little clock on the user interface that when a new filter is inserted, the clock sets at 12 hours, and as you deliver therapy, time is taken off of that 12-hour time frame. And when you get down to 30 minutes, you'll get your first alert. It's a low priority alert, letting you know the filter is going to be due up for change. It will alert you again at 10 minutes, and then at 2 minutes, you're going to get a high priority alert. And if for some reason you didn't change the filter in that time frame, it's still going to continue to deliver therapy. However, it's going to alarm, and you're not going to be able to remove that alarm until you change the filter. And to change the filter is a very simple process. You simply take your new filter out of the plastic bag, you push the button, pull the old filter out, insert the new filter. The device will do a handshake with that new filter, and once it acknowledges it, it will reset that clock to 12 hours. And again, you won't be required to change that filter until you get close to the next 12-hour window. The old filter can simply be discarded in regular trash. No special requirements for disposing of it. LungFlex is a 24/7 support program developed to help hospitals easily access technical clinical support or request emergency backups